Hey everybody, my name is Ashley Rush and I'm an independent creative memories advisor located in North Carolina. Today, I'm going to teach you guys how to use our decorative border punches alongside our jumbo circle custom cutting system pattern to create beautiful decorative circles for your scrapbook pages. This is a technique originally thought up by Sachi. I know you guys have heard me talk about her a lot. She is super creative and I just love all of her work. This video will expand upon some of the work we did in our previous videos. So if you haven't watched those, make sure you watch them now. All right, I'm gonna set aside our paper and projects so that we can do the prep work for our jumbo circle pattern. You're going to need your custom cutting system mat as well as your jumbo circle. In a previous video, I taught you guys how to find the 90-degree marks on your jumbo pattern. This was obviously used to help you center your circle on your cutting mat without having to eyeball it. We're going to continue that work and mark a couple of different angles now. You're still going to need fine tip Sharpies in order to do this. So if we've marked our 90-degree marks, the next degree marks we're going to be interested in are the 45 degrees. And if you go ahead and line your circle up so that all of the 90-degree marks are centered on the 6-inch lines on your cutting mat, the 45s are going to be super easy to find because they're already marked for you. So if I look down at my pattern, right here, I'm not sure if the video is picking it up, but there are two very small circles left over into the pattern. These are actually at every 15 degrees. So I'm going to use my red fine tip Sharpie to really accentuate those marks. I'm going to continue all the way around the circle and mark out the other 45-degree lines. Once you have those marked, we're going to move on to our 30-degree marks. These I'm going to do in green. Now, I guess you could mark these in different colors or similar colors, but it's just going to be hard to tell the lines apart in an instant if you make them all the same color. So again, I'm just going to make sure that I'm lined up on my 6-inch axes here. And now I'm going to come in to the 30 and 60-degree angles. As you guys can see, I've started here, and just for security purposes, I'm going to come through and darken that up. Now, the nice thing about the 30 is they're always going to be on either side of the red marks, so I don't even necessarily need my mat to tell me where they are. When that's done, we have one more measurement to mark out, and those are our 15-degree marks. I'm gonna do those in blue, mainly because that's the only other fine tip Sharpie color I have. Now, those are gonna be on either side of your black dots. think I have now hit them all. Alrighty. So now that we have prepped our jumbo circle pattern by marking all of the angles on the template, let's have a little bit of fun. I'm going to use our red blade and cut on the outermost track to make a circle pattern. You want to make sure you center your paper on your mat. And then I taught you last week how to center your circle pattern on your paper. We use that using those black marks and the 6-inch axes. All right, I think that looks good to me. And I'm just going to cut a quick circle. And it's important when you're done that you try your best to keep it still on the mat. All right, so I'm leaving my template down on the paper. I'm going to remove that outer ring of paper and set it aside. Now, I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to mark around the edges starting at the top, and I want to go every 30 degrees. So that means I'm going to be marking on my black marks as well as my green. Alright, so now when I remove my template, every 30 degrees will be marked off on the edge of my circle. So I'll end up with quite a few little wedge pieces. Alright, this is where the fun comes in. Now you're going to pick your decorative border punch. I've chosen the heart to heart punch. We do need to do a little bit of work with this punch before we can start. So the base of these punches are roughly 6 centimeters long, and that is from sort of the edge of this rectangle cut out in the metal. You guys see that here? All the way to this edge of the rectangle. It doesn't mean from the white edge to the white edge. It's talking about this inner rectangle made of the metal. So that's roughly 6 centimeters. You'll want to measure into the middle to 3 centimeters. And if it helps you, you would probably like to mark it, and you're going to mark it on the side where the patent pending label is. Now luckily for me, the heart to heart already comes marked with this nice little triangle that marks where the middle of the design is. If you're not using one of the patterns that marks the middle, you'll simply want to take a little Sharpie, measure 3 centimeters in, and then use your Sharpie and mark the middle just with a light line. All right, once you've done that, you're going to take your punch upside down, and you're going to take your circle and you're going to put it in until you can find your little mark here, and you want to line it up with the middle. So see how nice that arrow is? It puts it right where we want it, and we're going to punch. I just tipped it upside down so that I could get all my punch poop on the outside and not have to clog up the interior of my punch. Now, we did this very similar technique a couple weeks ago using the Border Maker cartridges. The big difference with this is we were kind of eyeballing the connections there. Here, we've got it all marked out so we know where to punch. And I'm just, again, lining up that line and punching. And just like with the Border Maker cartridge, you will end up with some little wedge pieces both on the top and bottom of your circular design. That's okay. We'll address that in a later step. And you're just going to punch all the way around until you get a perfect ring. Sometimes your designs can get a little caught up, so just want to gently try and maneuver them around, carefully not to rip it. The edges of my heart got a little trapped inside of my design, so I just took a multi-purpose tool and poked it down until they would slide easily out. Now I'll just continue around the edges, again lining up my pencil marks with the center of the underside of my punch. When you're through, you'll get a sort of wonky looking heart circle. Again, we've got those little wedges on both the top and the bottom, and you'll just need to go through with a pair of fine tipped scissors to cut out those little wedges. Now I find that especially with these smaller designs, it's nice to sort of mimic the shape of your border in order to get the best cut. So like for instance here, I'm just sort of continuing the shape of that heart. And then on this side, I just give it a nice little rounded edge as if I'm finishing off the top of that. I always call them heart butts, but I guess that's not appropriate. I'm actually going to do it on this side. It makes a little more sense for me to do the rounding here. So I look like I'm continuing the heart, and then here I just continue the straight line of this heart. So you'll continue with that all the way around, and then you'll also will want to address the inside little wedges. Those are going to be much smaller, and those are, again, you're just going to sort of continue little straight cuts off of that whole heart, and you can easily address those little wedges. And once you have gone all the way around, your ring of hearts will look something like this. Now, if there are any imperfect spots that you don't particularly like here the connection is a little wonky for me, those are great places to put stickers or overlap a journaling box, whatever it is, to just cover up the imperfections. As scrapbookers, we are totally used to doing that. So I have just layered this. These are our new tie-dye paper, so I'm using the dark blue tie-dye as a base. I'm covering that with the excess from when we cut our circle. That's why I always like to cut straight in the center, because then you can use those excess parts really nicely. And then just throw our hearts into the middle. So I know some of you guys are a little more scientifically minded. I'm one of those people. It's not always easy to just eyeball it, although you can if that's your deal. So I just like to give you guys a way to do it both ways. For those who want to measure and make sure it's close to perfect as possible, this method is for you. Thank you all for tuning in. I would love for you guys to give me a like and subscribe, but remember, you only need to hit that subscribe button once, otherwise you're unsubscribing, and that's just gonna make you sad. If you want to make sure you never miss one of these videos, make sure you hit that bell as well. I'll see you all next week. Bye!